Happy Tuesday. I hope you've had a great Tuesday. I was watching a video last night and I found the video quite intriguing because it was talking about how your heart is your strongest muscle in your body, and it's the most powerful one that you have, and that it was far more powerful than the mind, but to be able to function as the highest version of yourself, you have to learn how to balance the heart and mind so they work together, because when they're imbalanced, then you are not functioning at your highest capacity. And the reason why this was so significant to me is because I can relate to that. Because see, your mind seeks from the external and your heart is the internal. So the heart is like the soul and the mind is like the plow. And when I first started my journey last year, they were both out of whack, but it was the brokenness inside of me that really created even more confusion and was the most difficult thing to get a hold of, because before I started healing, I was an overthinker. I overthought everything. And then I was filled with anxiety and insecurity all the time. Never thinking that I could make the right choice or having the confidence to do the things I needed to do. I had a lot of self-doubt. And I now know that self-doubt and all that insecurity, anxiety, and lack of confidence stemmed from unhealed versions of myself. And once I first quit drinking and surrendered it and started taking God's lead, I realized that it was those things I needed to deal with. And I was doing pretty well when I started, but I was still having to fight between the two. So I actually went on an antidepressant for about 4 months. And I had been on an antidepressant probably about 15 years ago, and I got to where I didn't need the antidepressant anymore because basically it just numbed my feelings out, and so it's not good to numb out. So I came off of it and I functioned in a better way, I guess you could say, At least it was better than numbing out, although I guess I kind of replaced that with alcohol. But what I want to say is the reason I went on the antidepressant for 4 months was because I knew that if I didn't knock something out, that I wasn't going to be able to work through all the things that I needed to work through. And because they were out of whack. And this was going so crazy, I needed to slow it down so it could communicate better with my heart. And that helped me to an extent until I needed to feel everything again. And I don't mean everything, I mean like feel, well, maybe I do, but maybe not at the capacity I would have felt it in had I not gone on the medication. So after about 4 months of being on the medication, I was confident enough and able to come off of it and really start processing those feelings in a balanced way where I could communicate from the mind to the heart, from the heart to the mind, so I could truly heal. Because the medication was just a tool in helping the process. But what it really took was me coming off the medication and isolating myself from people, places, and things, and really focusing on those emotions and those thoughts and analyzing the emotion, analyzing the thought, analyzing where it came from, and learning to release it and forgive it and be compassionate to myself. So I guess what I want to say is that sometimes, unfortunately, when you go through so much in life and it all comes imploding down on you, sometimes you need a little help. And sometimes that help comes in the form of medication. But once you get this balanced and this balanced, it gets easier and easier to where you have true love in your heart, and you bring the outside around you. You're not searching for it. You have it in here. So you see the happiness on the outside. You're not searching for it anymore because you have it. hope that made sense, because it's a little confusing, especially if you've never been through the healing process, or if you're going through the healing process. But I just wanted to share that because I don't want anyone to suffer, because that's the worst thing. There is suffering, but there's unnecessary suffering. I don't want anybody to unnecessarily suffer. Seek help if you need it, and if medication is something you need, that's okay too. I'm going to read scripture. Matthew 6:21. For where your treasure lies, there your heart will be also. See, if your treasure is in love, that's what's in your heart. But if your treasure is outside of you, then it's coming from the mind. It's not coming from here. Romans 8:6. For set the mind on, let's start over. For set the mind on the flesh is death, but to set the mind on the Spirit is life and peace. See, your spirit, what's inside, that's where your mind should be set. Because if you set your mind on your spirit and you balance your heart, then it all comes into alignment and you're able to function as your highest self. I'm going to leave that right there. And I just want you to know I love you.